Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire.
It's Speed Freaks. Motorsports Radio redefined with Kenny Sargent.
We love to party.
Crash Gladys.
What are we doing for the bachelorette party?
And Statman.
I am serious.
Here's the Freaks.
All right, the simple questions for you tonight, Freak Nation. Should the Clash stay or go? Should it be a part of the regular season or no? You like that, Crasher?
Oh, I see what you did there.
And I would play the Crash if I could. The Clash right now if I could, but we would get popped on YouTube, Facebook, and every other freaking medium that we're on.
Can we sing it?
No, you can't sing it.
Should I?
No, you can't sing Happy Birthday either because we'll be sending checks to freaking Lucas Oil and Mav TV to help cover our freaking nut here. How you doing, Freak Nation? Kenny Sargent, Crash Gladys, Speed Freaks on a Sunday night. Statman, he's here. Richard C. Suave, he's also here. Big show for you tonight. Be sure you're a part of this big old thing. Twitter, Instagram, of course, Facebook Live, Mav TV, Lucas Oil, Speed Freaks, Worldwide Technology Raceway. I could go on and on. We got every which way to listen and to watch us tonight. Remember, it's a radio show that we put some makeup on from time to time and put this damn thing out on video. You follow me?
The question now is, if I'm headbanging to some music in my head, am I going to have to pay some money to somebody for the music that's bumping around in my head?
Just keep it inside the head.
Hold on a second. That's true. I wonder if there are video rights to headbanging. If you're headbanging to For Whom the Bell Tolls Metallica, they're going, Statman's, he's headbanging For Whom the Bell Tolls. We can't hear the song, but damn it, he's got the rhythm. He's got to pay rights.
Exactly. Headbanging to some Wiz Khalifa.
That was okay. Can we just get into it? That was a great show.
And dancing.
Vibing and dancing. Great music. Everybody was happy. We didn't see, or at least I didn't see a ton of it as I was trying to get ready for the show. But what I saw, I loved. You guys?
Now, the one thing that is different after the Wiz Khalifa concert, most of the red flags or the yellow flags that happened were right around the stage, where probably there was a little residue left from the concert.
A little weed?
Yeah, well.
Your name is Wiz Khalifa. You better have Essence de la Mer hanging around you, right? You're in Southern California where it's been legal for many freaking years, right?
Yeah, the drivers were banging into each other and spinning out, and cars were going every which way. And it took them about 45 minutes to get the next 10 laps done.
Oh, it really did. Yeah, we're finally, I think, at 40-ish laps to go. But yeah, it did take 45 minutes to get those first 10 laps going after the Wiz Khalifa concert. So that was, and now I see why. Thank you for clarifying that, Statman.
There was some serious vibing going on in addition to the dancing.
So Freak Nation, again, the Clash, we've got what? Another 50 laps left. They were hoping to have it done by what? 8 o'clock. Where the hell are we? 7 o'clock Pacific.
Oops.
But it ain't happening. It's not happening. I think they said after Wiz Khalifa, there was the longest green flag run. Then, of course, someone crapped the bed and they went into a yellow flag. So we'll give you the results as they happen during the race, or excuse me, during the show. Freak Nation. A lot of talk going on about the Clash. Crasher, what's the highlight that you're seeing so far with the Clash?
Wiz Khalifa.
Right?
Actually, people are excited. They say they think it's better than last year's Clash. And, I mean, last year, none of us knew what to expect. It was all it was all brand new for all of us. And we seem to get a lot of positive vibes coming out of that one. But it seems like people are happier this year. Is it, you guys tell me, is it a driving thing? Is it just a vibing thing like we've talked about? Is it both?
No, I think the drivers know a little bit more of what to expect, and they're driving a little better, a little smarter, and heats didn't take 4 or 5 days to get over like they did last year.
Yeah, valid.
What about this format, Statman? Is this a format that you would like to see moving forward? Again, hearing last chance qualifier puts me at turn 4 at Irwindale Speedway or at Paris Auto Speedway in Southern California. When you hear last chance qualifier, I think of sprint cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just what it is.
No, I love the idea of heats and the shows, instead of droning on for 6 hours and the drivers bored to tears and me taking naps. I would love to see them have something like this as a regular occurrence in the regular season. And now the way they have it, the feature is only 150 laps. That's doable, and it all makes sense. You still have an afternoon of racing to get all the commercials in.
What say you, Freak Nation? You could chime in on our chat rooms. Chat rooms. Oh my gosh.
That's 20 years ago.
Do I sound like some dude that was born in 1936?
The old genre of NASCAR?
Yeah, the chat rooms. Come on, welcome to my chat room there, Skipjack. Oh,
don't you hit me up
smokes.
on the internets, the wwws.
Oh, you can hit us up on our comments on YouTube and Facebook Live, Freak Nation, or chime in on Twitter at SpeedFreaks. I could see this happening, Statman, with the smaller tracks, Martinsville, Bristol. And again, it doesn't have to be for every race. It's similar to what...
It shouldn't be, because then it would get far too diluted.
Oh, you imagine that happening at Talladega?
Nope.
Last chance qualifier, Talladega? No, this is shorter. Mix it up. Again, I know Statman's not a fan of the 4-wide nationals, but geez, just mix it up, man. That's how I see it. Why not?
And, yeah, the tri-oval at Pocono is the dullest race in the history of man. And if they could do something like this at the tri-oval with those long, endless straights, I mean, it just, wow, they need to do something different there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could do this format successfully at a large track like that, but you're right. Pocono needs help. And it's a shame, because Pocono has so much history with both NASCAR and IndyCar. And I hate to see races like that become so boring. So yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. Mix things up. I mean, we've got different race distances throughout the country. We've got so many more road courses and street circuits. Well, this year, street circuit in Chicago. But yeah, something like this with entertainment smack in the middle of it. Like you said, last chance qualifiers, heat races leading into it, just like a Saturday night dirt track race. Yes, more of that, please. More of difference. People don't like change, but when change happens and brings in new eyeballs, you gotta love it. I know it's hard to accept things like change to your very, very old school sport, but it's good for the future. It's good for the longevity of basically this sport and other sports moving forward. You have to have differences.
Again, you're moving this. You've got this in Southern California. You've got this for the second year in Southern California. You're introducing it to new eyeballs. I'm not married to the Clash being in California.
No?
I understand the significance in the freaking Coliseum. I get it. But that was so last year. Why not move it around? I understand that Oregon or Washington's too freaking cold.
Statman is shaking his head.
Move it somewhere else. Move it into the Cotton Bowl.
Putting it into the Coliseum with the quarter-mile track. I think the big show here is the quarter-mile track. That's the difference. They're going slower. They're racing. It's not just a speed contest. They're racing each other, and you're finding some different names at the front of the line. And, you know, I'd like that. Instead of having the same people every week droning on, you got some racing going on.
But Stat, why don't you put this quarter-mile track? I'm talking about it in other areas where people don't go. I'm not saying change the track. Take the same freaking format every February and put it somewhere different where people aren't going.
Well, like you just answered yourself right there. Every February, if it's going to stay in February and not a mid-season something, you are limited on markets, period.
Exactly. You could always have an ice race in
that's the race of champions that was last weekend.
Right. Exactly. You can have an ice race, the cars sliding around, and we're running into snowbanks in everywhere else but Los Angeles.
Listen, take it away from boring ass Homestead and put it in the freaking, where's the Citrus Bowl? What stadium is that? Is that Miami? Orlando?
Orlando.
Freaking Orlando.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
You're onto something there.
Disney World, Universal.
Yeah, they could paint a marina like they did in Miami. They could paint the marina at Turn 4. And,
slamming F1 there a little bit.
Put it in Houston. Well, Texas got the crap beat out of them with the weather this last week, where there were millions of people.
You know, this week, the only place you could hold this thing is in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
with climate change coming along, that may be the case for a while.
You know, think about that, Stat Man. It has been raining bonkers over the last month and a half in Southern California. And the clouds dispersed and they were able to get this track laid. Imagine trying to lay this track down when it was just crapping hard on those guys for the last 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, that would be no fun. I'm glad I wasn't on that job committee.
Oh,
yeah. Well, at least they got it done. This is a good show. Anybody that listens to the show knows I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but they're putting it through the goalposts this last 2 years. I think this race has changed many perceptions of NASCAR, and you're holding it in South Central as a wrap show, and they're wearing armed guards like they were in the Southern California desert for another race series.
Okay.
I like that. It's a rap show and NASCAR. That just is not.
5 years ago, who'd have thought that would be the case,
Right.
Well, it's interesting you guys say that. I don't know if we will have enough time in this show to go over this, but there are still those pockets of people throughout social media right now that are upset that it's not country music. And we had this conversation on Speed Freaks about 20 years ago saying, get out of your country stereotype, expand your horizons musically, because again, like we were talking about with change,
look at the time crasher.
You need more eyeballs, different eyeballs to move forward.
All right, Freak Nation, we will continue this conversation. We'll get to your comments on YouTube and Facebook Live. Check it out.
Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio redefined.
It's more than just a slogan. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressively styling the Speed Freaks since 2001.
From the lab to Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
It's edgy and downright offensive at times.
So he wins my What an Idiot for the month of July.
See the world of NASCAR through their eyes.
Hey, it's TJ, Brett, and Freddie.
Superstar guests and plenty of hot takes.
And we are door bumper clear.
NASCAR hits MAV TV with door bumper clear. Only on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
For more than 30 years, Lucas Oil Products has been solving some of the most difficult mechanical problems in the automotive, marine, and industrial industries. From our original Core 4 products, heavy-duty oil stabilizer, power steering, stop leak, transmission fix, and fuel treatment, we have now developed over 400 custom products to help solve some of the world's toughest mechanical issues. Go to lucasoil.com to see what we have in store for you. Lucas Oil, it works.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio redefined.
do yourself a favor. Go to lucasoil.com and check out the line of products to keep all your rides fat and happy. 2-wheel, 4-wheel, inside your engine, outside your engine, inside your car, outside your car. Lucas Oil Speed Wax. Yeah, baby. Go to lucasoil.com. That's lucasoil.com. Coming up in about 15 minutes, your Rolex 24-hour winner. His name is Colin Braun. He'll be joining us here in the Freak Nation. But first, Crasher, you want to get into some pit news and notamage?
I can do that.
All right.
I can do that. We had, let's see, Supercross in Houston. We had Monster Jam in Indianapolis, NHRA testing in Gainesville, IndyCar got thermal in SoCal, and of course, NASCAR is officially back as we are watching right now as we speak. They're clashing in Los Angeles in the Coliseum. Let's start with Supercross, racing their first time outside of California this year, believe it or not. Hunter Lawrence just dominated the 250s, leading all but 2 laps to the win. The 450s were also dominated, but the storyline was certainly different. Eli Tomac's points lead was down to 4 after last weekend's wicked Triple Crown, but he gained on the title with a win in Texas. However, and Kenny, I'm going to ask you a little something on this.
All right.
Not until after the race was red flagged. When have you seen a red flag race in Supercross?
Well, when there's a gnarly freaking injury.
And it was. This was his teammate, Dylan Ferrandis. Unfortunately, had a wicked crash in the whoops and was knocked unconscious. Good news, he was, after a while, able to stand up on his own, walk off the track, and then he had to be treated for a concussion.
Yeah, I saw him in the back of a cart with a neck brace on. And he was sitting up. He wasn't on a gurney or anything of that nature.
It's just scary. He was knocked unconscious, but Eli Tomac goes on to the win, yet his teammate was lying on the track for a while. It's just wicked again. All right, in Florida, winter testing heated up for the NHRA, and even though there's not a lot of news that really ever gets discussed with the super secret half and full passes, we did learn that Fueler Josh Hart, he adopted a baby boy with his wife. Tony Stewart's Mopar cars are going sublime green. Wright trailers will be back to support Camry Caruso. And thank goodness, the season opening Gator Nationals are just 1 month away. Also in March.
I'm sorry. That's still.
I know.
Wait, Statman, come on, man. When you're hearing the kickoff for the NHRA season in Gainesville.
And it's in March, not February.
And it's in March, bro. And they're going to have the winter freaking nationals at Pomona in the middle of March.
Well, no, wait a minute. You talk about changes and getting used to change.
Right.
There, I don't like it. I hate it. It's supposed to start the Winter Nationals at Pomona, but if you're gonna like change, then you got to change it all the time.
Should they change Pomona though?
My problem is this: it's the middle of freaking March. Why don't we get started earlier? That's my. You can start in Vegas. I don't give a damn where you start this.
Right. Okay. They're not going to move the Gator Nationals from spring break week in Florida, or one of the biggest spring break weeks in Florida. So, that's staying on that week. So you're right. Open it in Vegas. It doesn't have to be Pomona, but yeah. It's just weird because we're watching the Clash right now. NHRA Pomona's Winter Nationals used to be the same weekend as the Clash. I don't think it's been that way for maybe 5 or 6 years now, but it used to be consistently NHRA Winter Nationals. We would be at a bar after qualifying on Saturday in Pomona, watching the Clash on the TV. It's just blows my mind.
The operative term being we were at a bar.
Yeah, we were at a bar. Imagine that, right? Okay, IndyCar will also debut in March on the streets of St. Petersburg, but this weekend they ran behind armed guards at the Thermal Club outside of Palm Springs. I kid. Actually, no, I don't kid, because they really did have to go behind armed guards. That part of my tweet the other day was, but here's the deal. They are running in a country club type atmosphere surrounded by multi-million-dollar estates.
Well,
so
listen,
I get it.
And Statman's old enough. I don't know about Richie C. Suave. Suave, when you hear country club, what's the first thing that comes to mind, Broham?
Old white people.
Exactly. Yes. You hear country club. It's like, no. And I understand. You want to have people,
speaks.
Yeah. You want to have people, you want to have your billion-dollar abodes protected, but putting your freaking test behind gates and armed guards.
It's not, they were invited there, and those are the rules of that club. That's the bottom line.
Country club. All right.
Media content was very entertaining. much of that we are going to be seeing over the next couple of weeks. Double points. Get this. Double points for the Indy 500. It was announced they're finally being dropped. Marcus Ericsson and Chip Ganassi received their Baby Borg Warner trophies, typically done in the month of May. Colton Herta led 2 sessions of running. Marcus Ericsson led the third, but when all was said and done, a new name was on top of the speed charts. Congrats, Kyle freaking Kirkwood. And is anyone else still singing Wiz Khalifa? Holy cow, we only have 10 to go. This last part of the last half of the second half have actually flown by pretty fast. But Wiz Khalifa still on my mind. 10 to go. Who do we have leading? My eyes are bad. My eyes are old.
Truex. Martin Truex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and look at that. Austin Dillon with Lucas Oil sponsorship. Sitting number 2. We like that.
It's still tough for me to get used to the fact that weed is legal in many more places than it was, again, 3 or 4 years ago. And the fact that weed is legal in Southern California, and why not? I know you can't smoke in non-smoking areas, but they have smoking areas outside of the Coliseum. Curious if it's being attended by a few more people. Stat man, lighten up the spliff.
Yeah. Who knows why they're there? I mean, it's something to do. It's the weekend between the NFL season and the Super Bowl.
I think that timing is perfect.
Yeah, there's a whole host of things to do. Plus the Wiz Khalifa concert. And they had, was it Cypress Hill? They were there earlier. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good show. And there's no country music in it.
All right.
Well,
this is an interesting.
According to Michael Brian Poe, who chimed in on Facebook, he says that Wiz Khalifa is about as irrelevant at a NASCAR race as prohibition is at a bar now. Okay.
You're entitled to your opinion, but come on, dude. You have to evolve as well.
Jerry McBride. No, he doesn't. He be whatever he wants.
That's valid.
Again, I have 0 Wiz Khalifa records or downloads. I'm not a fan, but I get it.
It was fun, though.
I mean, I've got a freaking West Side Connection platinum record on my wall right here. I didn't know those guys until I was allowed to go deep into rap back in the day. I like them. But checking in with Jerry McBride on Facebook, he says, needs to go back to Daytona, talking about the Clash.
Okay. That's actually a very intriguing point. We talked about, hey, let this tour the country. Unfortunately, weather is going to hold that back if they decide to keep it in the month of February. But why not East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast? I don't think that would be a bad thing.
Now, Brian is evidently keeping close tabs on us because he chimed right back in. He says, I get what they're trying to do, but better people they can choose from for the demographic. Michael,
all right. Okay, hold on. Then Michael Bryan, comment. Oh, yikes. Bubba Wallace in the wall. Comment who you think would be better for the demographic. If you're not a fan of rap, fine. But what do you think would work better for the demographic? Because country music has just gone through the NASCAR ranks and it's super saturated. I don't think that's a smart move for them. So what else? What would be a better better group of music?
Depends on the audience you're after. If you're after an urban audience, you need urban music. If you're after a non-urban audience, then you need non-urban music. It's pretty simple. They want to expand the audience, get the young people that they have in the seats this year, and hopefully for every 100 people they gather, they'll get 1 or 2 new fans, and they'll be able to survive and pay the bills. All the people that want them to go back to Daytona and get country music and maybe rebel flags, then they, when they run out of money because the advertisers don't see the people there, what are you going to do then?
Well, I think Jerry, who was saying, bring it back to Daytona, I don't think Jerry was saying anything about music. She just wants the location. Like I was saying before, Kenny brought up more of Michael's comments, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. I think that's a fabulous idea. Back and forth, alternate years.
Well, that's Statman, that's rap. The East Coast, West Coast rivalry. Why not?
Right.
There you go.
Right.
And I like Michael chimed in. We asked him, who do you want in music? He said Jay-Z. All right.
I'm down with that.
I'm down with that too.
Absolutely. Wiz Khalifa, what, 39 million followers or something wacky like that on Twitter? All right, Freak Nation, when we resume, your winner from the Rolex 24-hour, Colin Braun, 4-time Rolex 24-hour. We caught up with him earlier, and the animation for some of these drivers was freaking spectacular. We'll get to that coming up. SpeedFreaks Pits and the Lucas Oil Studios. Bring it up, Rich.
Motorsports Radio redefined.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Back in the day, you guys did everything you could with what you had.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be more fun to take everything we have today and put everything you had over top of it.
How about that? Wow.
MAV TV presents Legacy of Speed. This is the story of the cars, the men who built them, and the men who raced them. This is their legacy of speed on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Our team is on the Rubicon Trail today, running over 125 vehicles over one of the toughest trails in the world. With all the different modifications people can make for their Jeep 4x4, the only product that touches the ground is a tire. This is the team that you want testing your product.
I've been off-roading for 30 years now, and you definitely don't need anything bigger than 37-inch tires. Our founder, Mark Smith, drove from the tip of South America to the tip of North America on 31-inch tires.
The General Tire X Series meets our standards.
We have the ability for accelerated testing in all conditions: mud, rock, dirt.
We're out here this week highlighting the capability of the General Grabber X3 to see how this tire can perform in unbelievable conditions. It's incredible to watch General Tire deliver in this terrain.
General Tire delivers me to a fishing tournament, the outdoors, jeeping, whatever it is that you want to do. It's outdoor life is what it is.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio redefined.
I can't tell you enough. Go to lucasoil.com, and even better, go to generaltire.com to find the tires for your righteous ride. Go to generaltire.com. It's still wet out there and it's still cold. Get yourself a new set of General tires on that fat ride of yours. Check it out at generaltire.com. His name is Colin Braun, one of 4 drivers who won the Daytona 24-hour with Michael Shank Racing. I've been in the Freak Nation many, many times, and he joins us now. Here are the Freaks. Colin, let's start off with this. If you're watching this interview on YouTube or Facebook Live, I've got a bone to pick with whoever shot this picture. Why are you in the back in this picture, buddy?
Well, I think when you have Indy 500 champions, Simon with 1 and Elio with 4, I guess those guys automatically go to the front. I think that's probably only fair, to be honest.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Who are the full-time drivers?
We're in the back, we're backing those guys up.
Oh,
Colin Braun, you've got more spins in a freaking sports car than any of those happy bastards combined. I think you and Blomqvist need to be out front. Let Elio and Simon just sit down there and just hope to be in the damn picture.
Hey, man, I'm not sure. I mean, Elio, he's got everybody on age as well. So, age before beauty, I guess.
Age before beauty. Kenny, put that picture back up there again. Who posed you guys? Because Elio's it's like he's trying to get out of the picture real quick. Like, and then you've got this, hey, don't mess with me. I'm Colin Braun. Look.
And you got Simon looks a little bit like a Superman, kind of that Superman cape look. It's a good photo. It's a good photo for sure.
It is. Well, Colin, you guys were the talk the entire week, 2 weeks leading up to this, because you guys had figured something out. You guys, Wayne Taylor, and you guys figured something out that other teams, manufacturers with this new car did not. However, when it came to the race, you guys had gearbox issues. You truly thought the car might blow up. So again, I want to ask you, what did you figure out before the race? What did you figure out during the race to keep things going in the right momentum onto the win?
Well, that's a good question for sure. And, I think on our end, we just, no magic bullet, no big secret, we just really honestly did all of our sort of preseason testing, just getting used to the car, understanding the tools that we have in this GTP car. I mean, so many settings, so many things to adjust in the cockpit that change the balance of the car. We honestly didn't get a chance to really work too much on springs and bars and sort of those normal setup things you work on. And so maybe we got lucky because we didn't spin ourselves in a big circle. We just used the tools that, our Acura HPD car had, and we just focused on getting laps and trying to understand, kind of to optimize what we had, and knew our limitations in the fact that, hey, we got to put miles on this. We got to learn how to drive it as is, and just focus on, refining the small details we could rather than try to reinvent the wheel. And so I think that was a big part of it. And, these guys, I mean, man, at Meyer Shank, great team. They won the championship last year. They obviously won the race, the 24 Hours of Daytona race the year before. So I think we had good momentum. We had great chemistry. Me being new to the team, I got along with everyone well, and those guys really welcomed me in. And so I think when you have good chemistry and just a great group of people, good things happen.
Colin Braun, I want to say this, and this isn't a question, but I just want to say, all the insanity that people threw at you when you were racing in the trucks and Xfinity, you more than answered, told them to go someplace and kiss your tail, because you won 2 championships since then and drove the car 200 miles an hour at Daytona, which none of them will even get a chance to do because nobody will ask them. So congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, it's been it's been a wild career for sure. I feel like, between my first stint in sports cars, my stint at NASCAR, my last 10 years driving for Core Auto Sport in sports cars, and now, starting this new chapter with Meyer Shank. I mean, yeah, it's been for me, it's been a lot of fun. And, I think, I've enjoyed every piece of it and learned a ton along the way for sure.
So you got to tell me, I'm jumping in here on purpose, Kenny and Crash. Okay. You got to tell me what it's like to drive a Ford at 200 mile an hour plus I know you're an Acura now, but 200 mile an hour plus, when you come off the banking, your eyes got to be bugging out of that helmet, and you can't be breathing. You ain't got time to breathe.
Man, they sure are. I'll tell you, we set that speed record around Daytona a handful of years ago, actually with the Meyer Shank team. They were the ones operating the program. And so, yeah, I mean, we averaged 228 miles an hour around Daytona and set that speed record around there. Honestly, I thought it was going to be pretty easy. I mean, you know, these sports cars, they go 190, 195 miles an hour. Often on the road course setup at Daytona. So I thought, man, when we get to doing the speed run, we'll just crank the power up and we'll knock this thing out in no time. But I'll tell you, that extra 30, 35 miles an hour between 190 and 230 is a lot of effort. I mean, man, it's not like going 60 to 90. I mean, that's a huge step in speed and edginess and the feel and all of that. So, yeah, it was definitely, a lot of, pucker moment and, just like, I hope this is over and it ends well. And thankfully it did. But, yeah, quick funny story on that one, too. We were actually testing down there to try to break the record, doing kind of the install laps and getting going. And on that car, it had a little speed indicator. And in sports cars, you never go really above 200. So it would max out at 199 miles an hour. And that's all it would say. And so we got to the point where we were going just above 200. So I knew we were getting close to beating Bill Elliott's record. I think it was like 211 or 212. And but I had no idea. I just knew we were somewhere above 199 miles an hour. Came off of NASCAR turn 4. Mike Shank got on the radio and he said, "Man, you're on fire. You're on fire." And I'm like, I know. We're going so fast. This is incredible. This is crazy. And he's like, no, you're like actually on fire. Stop. I just thought he was talking about, we're hauling the mail and breaking records and we're on fire. But we actually had a little misstep, but then got it back sorted out and came back a couple weeks later and broke the record.
What's it like to have somebody in your ear at 200 mile an hour plus? The last thing you got time to do is listen to somebody talk to you.
Yeah, I just heard the "you're on fire" part, and instantly, being the racer that I am, was like, "Oh man, we're doing great. We're probably breaking the record right now." The last thing I thought about was like, we're actually on fire. I never even thought that would be a possibility.
I mean, we're talking several years ago that this happened. Can you look back now and make any connection as to that's how you got your ride with Michael Shank now, and as a Daytona or a 24-hour Daytona winner with the team now?
I think it's a part of it for sure. We had a good relationship. A couple of years before that, when I was doing NASCAR racing for Ford, Ford actually placed me with his team for the 24-hour race as well. So I've worked with Mike and driven for him a couple of different times and always had a massive amount of respect. I mean, what he's been able to build and achieve, particularly here in the last 3 or 4 years, has been incredible. And so, I think, all those kind of things help, being a presence in the paddock and always checking in and chatting with him. I think all those little pieces add up for sure.
Colin Braun, four-time Rolex 24-hour champion, including this year's 24-hour champion, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And you go through your resume, Colin, and you look at the teams that you've driven for. And again, it comes up in conversation with your NASCAR career. Is that door still open for a contract drive, or is it just you just get your Jones off of turning left and right in a sports car?
Man, I got to tell you, driving that Acura GTP car is pretty darn fun. They're so fast in a straight line now. The downforce they make, the level of grip they make. I mean, man, it is a blast to drive. So, hey, I'm still open to anything, right? I'm a race car driver. I love driving race cars, whatever it is. All of the guys actually on the team were giving me a hard time for sort of having this reputation for jumping in and driving anything and everything.
Between the four of you guys, Colin Braun, 4-time Rolex 24-hour champion, and be honest here, who had the better information on driving this race and this car, just from history of sports car racing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in the preseason, I would say Tom has done more tests. So he did a couple of tests before I got hired. And then obviously with Elio, and Simon's IndyCar commitments, those guys weren't able to make all the preseason testing. So I would say Tom had a bit more, experience, a bit more time in the car, and was there from day one on the development side of the car. And then, second probably was myself. I got ingrained in there pretty early on and was a part of a lot of the, first few tests. And so, a lot of information though. Man, these cars are complicated to drive. So many settings, so many adjustments, so many tools we have to change things with the hybrid system in play. I mean, it's awesome as a driver, and really that engineer driver.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Back in the day, you guys did everything you could with what you had.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be more fun to take everything we have today and put everything you had over top of it.
How about that? Wow.
MAV TV presents Legacy of Speed. This is the story of the cars, the men who built them, and the men who raced them. This is their legacy of speed on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
Man, new car, new oil. What kind of oil should I put in this thing? I can't figure that out. I got to get something. I'm here in the ATPA pits. Maybe I ought to go check somebody out, see what they suggest.
This freaking segment is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Sometimes I just don't understand the mindset of motorsports marketing. And the golden chalice, of course, is audience, where to get it and how to keep it. NASCAR has been turning over rocks for 20 years looking for more people to look at its shows. Last year it found one answer in South Central Los Angeles, of all places. It put a show in the LA Coliseum and brought in urban entertainment to support it. The reward was box office and TV ratings success. Then there's IndyCar. Its audience is shrinking no matter what it believes or what it tells us. So what's it do? This week it put its preseason show behind armed guards in bulletproof vests at a millionaire's retreat in the Southern California desert. To top it off, they called the affair an open test. I'll give them this. I wasn't there. But if you think enough of me, a fan, and a member of the media that talks to fans, if you think enough of me to hide behind armed guards on streets paved with gold, you miss the point entirely. You don't need to be in South Central, but you need to be somewhere where armed guards aren't needed to keep me away. Didn't you think what this looked like? Obviously not. Peace.
Speed Freaks on a Sunday night, Lucas Oil Studios. That's your stat man, Scat, talking about Thermal, California, where IndyCar decided to lay their testing over the weekend and over the week. We'll get to that in moments, but your results from the Crash, Gladys?
So last year, Joey Logano won the Clash and won the championship.
Hey.
Martin Truex Jr. won this many races. I'm holding up a goose egg. 0 races last year. He just won the Clash. I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr. for the championship.
So you get on the Statman bandwagon. Statman's been fueling the Martin Truex bandwagon for what? Statman, 10, 15 years?
Oh, at least. He had some bad news where he and his wife, they're not going to
that was just this week.
continue
Yeah.
on. The one thing they were talking about during the race was Joey Logano in car 22 won in 2022, and Darrell Wallace was leading for a while, and car 23, and they were thinking maybe that he'll win this year, but wasn't to be.
Nope. Martin Truex Jr. wins the Clash, wins the championship. We can just move on to 2024 now.
Mm-hmm.
In car 19. He's
car 19. Right. Yeah.
He's 4 years late.
So again, you can chime in on a comments page on Facebook and again on YouTube. What you think of the Clash? If you look at the comments right now, not the majority of the people aren't a fan of the Clash. And again, it's just an exhibition race. Can't put a whole lot of credence into this damn race.
Hold on. The majority of the people listening and interacting with us tonight.
Correct.
Because the comments I saw on Twitter throughout the night tonight were overwhelmingly positive.
Got it. So you can still chime in on that. Coming up next hour, we have, love this. His name is, of course, he's the front man for Styx. Lawrence Gowan will be here in the Freak Nation. That's right. They had a residency for 4 or 5 days in Las Vegas at the Venetian, I believe. And that just wrapped up over the weekend. But your front man from Styx, been there for almost as long as we've been doing the show. He'll be joining us next hour. And the animation for the drivers in the Clash was greatness. We'll get to that.
Oh, that's right. We have to get to that. The cartoony character. What do you call that? It's not just animation. It's a certain kind of animation, cartoonish graphic.
Richie?
Yeah,
Come
Richie, help us out.
I don't know exactly what you call it, but it was some sort of artistic interpretation that was really, really bad.
Would you call it anime?
No. It's not.
No.
No,
comic bookie's the closest.
It is comic bookie.
There you go. I like that. Comic bookie animation.
Boom. Technical term. Solved.
That sounds like one of the wrestlers from WWE.
Hey, 6 minutes. Let's talk a little bit about IndyCar and IndyCar testing. And Statman Scat was talking about behind armed guards. And again, it's the perception versus the actual reality. The perception is that the IndyCar testing in Thermal, California, if you look at this country club of sorts where this racetrack is and these millionaire, billionaire owners of houses and cars and planes and so forth, they hire armed guards at gate stations someone said turrets in gate stations to look over their property. And visually speaking, it wasn't a good look for IndyCar. Granted, Crasher, I know what you're saying. They were invited there, but the look just wasn't that appealing for some.
It seems like, okay, I get that they were potentially enamored by this gorgeous place to do their preseason testing, but yes, you're a series that does need or could benefit from many, many more eyeballs. So why not do it at a place like Laguna Seca, good weather, a race that's on your schedule, on your calendar, and where fans can go? That's just my opinion. Obviously, people are going to have many different opinions on this. I would have preferred this to be either Barber Motorsports Park in Atlanta or in Alabama or Laguna Seca in California.
Yeah, or even California Speedway. If you're going to race at Laguna Seca, then go someplace where you're not going to race. They have a road course there, plus an oval. You can get a lot done. There's a lot of places they could have gone besides behind a gate with armed guards. I mean, the look wasn't good at all. And you just can't help but think that the same decisions that killed Champ Car and Kart are being made here. And you don't want IndyCar to go away. This is not for the owners and the drivers. This is for the fans. They're selling fans. That's how they make their money, selling fans. And this is not a way to attract fans.
Hey, Richie, you were out at Phoenix Raceway for some of the testing a week and a half ago. Did they allow fans in for that testing?
They did. I was out there on Wednesday afternoon, which was a closed test to the public. But on Tuesday, it was an open test to the public. And actually, on Wednesday, when I showed up, the security guard there told me that they were still having people showing up thinking it was an open test, and she had to turn away people from showing up on Wednesday as well. So I can't speak to how many people showed up. I did see some people on social media on the SpeedFreaks Twitter timeline of people posting pictures. I saw Phoenix Raceway retweeting a lot of people who were there and seemed to be having a good time on a Tuesday afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona. It was a beautiful day in the 60s. And, I don't know exactly how many people showed up, but a decent amount of people, as far as social media concerned, showed up to watch some NASCAR race cars test out new mufflers at Phoenix Raceway. It was last week, right? Week before
last.
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies.
And again, it's like Statman said in the scat, and I'm just reiterating the look. I don't care why they were there, just the look of dudes with armor and freaking vests, Kevlar vests. It just, darn it, man. You just think, who let that fly? Who was was it Roger Penske?
Everything comes from, he gives the ultimate final yes or no. Here's the deal. Richie just sent this to us. The Thermal Club wants to host an IndyCar race after the test debut, or after this test the test is done. Okay. The debut is done. Now they're saying they want to host a race. How are they going to get around the armed guard thing then?
Yeah, they're worried about, they say that they have these $1 million properties behind this gate, and they're worried about people doing something to the $1 million properties. Those are drivers and team owners and media. They're the only people there. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know where they thought this was a good idea.
Later on that same article, Crash, real quick. Sorry, Kenny.
All right.
They went on to say that if they were to hold an actual race there, only 4,000 people would be able to attend. And that's it.
What?
That's it.
So
4,000 people.
Right now, with no other seating being brought in, that's great English, I understand. that 4,000. So they need to bring in another.
This would be a premium event for a premium crowd that comes straight from the heads of the track there.
Yeah, a ticket would cost about $1,500. I guess if you can afford a $10 million house, then you can afford $1,500 for a ticket.
That would be the worst.
Okay, I'll make this quick, but that's what Formula One is doing to the American racing fan right now. They're charging $5,000 plus for tickets. Premium ticket, premium crowd. Is that where we're going?
That's Formula One.
I know.
IndyCar
should not do
They've
that.
got one toe left on those 2 feet. They keep shooting themselves in the freaking foot. All right, Freak Nation. Coming up next hour, come sail away with a blue-collar man, Styx, coming up at Speed Freaks Pits. And this anime, comic booky animation that Fox came up with is greatness. More freaks coming up.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
As a trucker, you've seen every kind of road condition out there. One of the toughest is icy, freezing weather, which can thicken diesel fuel and plug system filters. That's why you need Lucas Anti-Gel Cold Weather Diesel Treatment. It prevents fuel gelling at extremely cold temperatures, lowers the cold filter plugging point of diesel and biodiesel fuels, and removes moisture from the entire fuel system. In turn, you get maximum performance and reliability. For more info, visit lucasoil.com. Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
It's edgy and downright offensive at times.
So he wins my What an Idiot for the month of July.
See the world of NASCAR through their eyes.
Hey, it's TJ, Brett,
and Freddie. Superstar guests and plenty of hot takes.
And we are door bumper clear.
NASCAR hits MAV TV with door bumper clear. Only on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-569-5802. 800-569-5802. 800-569-5802. That's 800-569-5802.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to say
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Hang up and try again.
Broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire. It's Speed Freaks. Motorsports Radio redefined with Kenny Sargent.
We love to party.
Crash Gladys.
What are we doing for the bachelorette party?
And Statman.
I am serious.
Here's the Freaks.
Freak Nation, second hour coming up. The front man from the band Styx, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the history of mankind. Blue Collar Man, Come Sail Away, many, many multi-platinum albums. He'll be joining us here in the Freak Nation, the second hour of the Freaks. The Clash wrapped up. Crasher, real quick. I know we've got, are we going to put news and notes this hour?
Nah, we don't need to do news and notes anymore.
For those just tuning in, give them the latest on the Clash.
Your 1, 2, 3, Martin Truex Jr., number 1, did not win a single race last year. Oh, hi, opening 2023. Look who I am, Martin Truex Jr. And number 2 and number 3, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. Yes, Kyle Busch in his new RCR ride. That's pretty interesting.
And judging by the comments on our feed, they seem to be contrary to many that you see on Twitter. Is that true?
Twitter
Suave
overall,
and
yeah. Yeah, correct. Suave, what do you see on Twitter? Because what I was watching before we went live here, as the Clash was going on, before the Clash, during the heat races, I saw nothing but positivity. People were pumped.
I saw mostly positive stuff as well. It is Grammys night, so the Grammys are actually still going on right now. So if you look at the trending page on your Twitter feed, NASCAR is all the way down at number 26. Everything else is pretty much all Grammys tonight, to put things in a little bit of perspective, which kind of stinks for NASCAR, obviously. But other than that, like as far as the racing goes and the event as a whole, everybody seemed to like the racing more this year than last year. The biggest problem people had was it took way too long to finish 150 laps on a track that is only a quarter mile in distance, because there were 15 cautions this year in the main event, which was ridiculous. So it took way too long. And that was people were complaining about that quite a bit. I saw Scott McLaughlin, the IndyCar driver, was complaining about how long the race was going on because how many cautions there were. So other than that, people in attendance seemed to have a great time. I think that was the biggest key. The people there going to their first NASCAR race, the number I saw this year was somewhere around 40% of people who were going to the Clash this year were attending their first NASCAR race this year. And if they had a good time, that's the important thing. That's why NASCAR is doing this. It's for the TV audience, yes, but it's for growing the sport and creating more fans. And if that's what they get out of it, and they created 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 new fans that are going to keep going back to more NASCAR races, going to the Clash again next year, that's the important thing.
More importantly, are they going to watch on television? They don't have to go to the event, but if you get 7,000 this year, 7,000 last year, that those are rating points that amount to more money from advertisers. That's how the system works.
Freak Nation, your thoughts. You can chime in on our comments on Facebook and, of course, YouTube if you're watching this. And if you're playing along with us on the Freak Radio Network, you can chime in on Twitter at Speed Freaks, or therefore on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. They had caricatures, or as Richie said, comic booky animation for the drivers. And the first one that Richie sent to us this afternoon, as we were prepping for the show, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook Live, you'll see this graphic. You'll see Tyler Reddick in the middle. And that does not look like Tyler Reddick in the middle.
To be honest, none of the three of those guys, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, or Ryan Blaney, look much like their caricature.
Statman, what is that? Is that called a cleft chin? What do you call that kind of chin?
Of who?
On Chase Briscoe?
Yeah.
A mistake.
Okay.
Oh. I took a glance at that, and am I wrong? That looks like Kyle Busch to me. And then I looked at the name, I'm like, that's not Kyle Busch. That's Chase Briscoe.
Looks like a chunkier Kyle Busch.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks more like Kyle Busch than it does Chase Briscoe. You're right.
Yeah.
So Tyler Reddick, he's worn a beard from time to time. When I saw that, I went to my Google machine and tried to find some pictures of him, and he did have a beard once or twice last year, but that it wasn't nearly as dark as that or defined as that or complete as that.
His skin is not that dark either. I mean, Tyler, I love you, but he's a ginger with some Irish in him. He's pasty white.
Yeah, there's not a lot of red in there, right?
Yeah, no.
All right, here's Michael McDowell. If you're watching this, if you're listening to it, I'm sorry. You can go back and watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
First glance, who does Michael McDowell look like?
The drummer from Green Day.
Driver. I was going to say what driver? To me, just glance, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's another one that looks like a WWE guy. Look at those biceps.
Oh, right.
He could pick up the car and throw it across the finish line.
That is greatness. Okay.
Can I put some context behind this a little bit too? It'll make a little bit more sense to people. So this is something that Fox Sports has been doing for a couple years. They did it on their NFL coverage for the last couple years. All of their graphics look exactly the same across all of their sports coverage. So this is what they do. Anytime they show a player or a driver, instead of showing their headshot, they're showing these cartoon-like graphics of these drivers and players. So that's what we're talking about here. And they've been doing this for a couple years now across NASCAR and the NFL. But this is the first time where it just really caught my eye. We're like, my God, those are just awful. And I wasn't the only one talking about this on Twitter as well. So it's been blowing up all day on NASCAR Twitter. And the one that killed me was Tyler Reddick, because I have never seen him wear a beard ever. And I do not understand who was putting together the graphics package for Fox, but giving Tyler Reddick a beard did not make any sense at all. So Tyler, I hope Tyler responds to our tweet on Twitter to try and figure out why they gave him a beard.
They might have a dozen people all together that they parcel out for football, baseball, and NASCAR. And, they just come as close as they can and then fill in the blanks. And that's the way it works, maybe.
All right, let's get to Denny Hamlin. Again, if you're watching this is fantastic. If you're listening to it, we'll do our best to describe this, Freak Nation. Here's Denny Hamlin.
Oh.
And okay, hold on a second, Crasher. You ready for this?
Yes.
First dude I thought of when I saw that? Joey Fatone of NSYNC.
No. Go back to Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin he does not have defined cheekbones like that. Look. He looks like an American Indian. But his cheekbones, what's going on there? That's not, and the fierce eyes. What?
Oh, Richie, who does Denny Hamlin look like to you there?
I don't have a particular person in mind. I just can't get over the fact that Denny doesn't have any eyebrows in this particular graphic.
Yeah, he does have, but they're lost in the shadows of his eye sockets. But he looks like he might be a young Clint Eastwood. Like maybe he said, what's that line that he used?
Day.
Yeah, you would make my day.
Make my day, or
my day.
Do you, punk?
Yeah.
Do you? Look at this shot. And he's holding that finger up like, yeah, baby. Yeah. You love me. Yes, you love me.
Yeah, maybe he's the Wiz Khalifa who was singing. That's where they got the picture from.
Listen,
oh boy,
you've got to have fun with this stuff, because when you see again the animation of these dudes, that's not Tyler Reddick. It's like he should be modeling some freaking organic soap. Soap on a rope.
Wait, what? No. Stop right now.
Crasher, you're the one that has the mind going there.
No. Gee, someone volunteered some information.
I didn't say anything about dropping. I said soap on a rope. Dang it.
It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, of all of us, didn't you interview him at Indianapolis last year? You've been closer to him than anybody.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, he's pasty white. He's not that.
Did he look like that at all with the beard and the dark hair and everything?
No. And honestly, Tyler Reddick is probably one of the nicest drivers. They're trying to make him look all fierce, and he can look fierce, but That's not the real Tyler.
Yeah, plus he likes us, so he's a world-class guy.
When he got punted by Chase Briscoe at Bristol last year, it was right there. Tyler Reddick had the win in his sights and then got punted in turn 3 and 4.
Well, that was the third race at Bristol, wasn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When he got punted, 40 other drivers would have mother effed Chase Briscoe, not Tyler.
Nope.
That probably would have done the same thing. Yeah, it's all right.
Is that what he sounded like?
Yeah, it's wait, sounds like his picture. Yeah, I'm soap on a rope. Evergreen. Would you like some evergreen?
Evergreen.
Yeah, man, do you use soap or do you use a loofah? What do you use?
I use sandpaper. Good felt sandpaper. That takes care of everything.
Statman sandpaper. Greatness. All right,
sandpaper on a rope. Yeah, maybe I'll try that.
Styx, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the history of mankind. Lead singer Lawrence Gowan joins us next. SpeedFreaks Pits and the Lucas Oil Studios.
Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Do you have an idea for a book? Fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Back in the day, you guys did everything you could with what you had.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be more fun to take everything we have today and put everything you had over top of it.
How about that? Wow.
MAV TV presents Legacy of Speed. This is the story of the cars, the men who built them, and the men who raced them. This is their legacy of speed on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Our team is on the Rubicon Trail today, running over 125 vehicles over one of the toughest trails in the world. With all the different modifications people can make for their Jeep 4x4, the only product that touches the ground is a tire. This is the team that you want testing your product.
I've been off-roading for 30 years now, and you definitely don't need anything bigger than 37-inch tires. Our founder, Mark Smith, drove from the tip of South America to the tip of North America on 31-inch tires.
The General Tire X Series meets our standards.
We have the ability for accelerated testing in all conditions: mud, rock, dirt.
We're out here this week highlighting the capability of the General Grabber X3 to see how this tire can perform in unbelievable conditions. It's incredible to watch General Tire deliver in this terrain.
General Tire delivers me to a fishing tournament,
The outdoors, jeeping, whatever it is that you want to do, it's outdoor life is what it is.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Freak Nation, arguably they're one of the greatest bands in the history of rock and roll. It's Styx, millions and millions of records. They just finished up a residency in Las Vegas. They're on tour as we speak. We caught up with the lead singer, Lawrence Gowan, earlier. Fantastic interview and insight from this dude who's been around the business for 40 plus years. Lawrence Gowan here at SpeedFreaks Pits and the Lucas Oil Studios. Freak Nation, we were talking earlier how we've run the gamut with Styx members here in the Freak Nation over the last 5 or 6 years. JY, Tommy Shaw, Sugarman, so why not? Let's go with your lead singer, Lawrence Gowan, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And Lawrence, by the time this airs, I believe you will have wrapped up your residency at the Venetian in Las Vegas. Let's go back to your days in your 20s. And you think to yourself, why in the hell would we be on the Strip? Why would my band be in Las Vegas? Has your mood or your opinion changed about Las Vegas versus when you were in your 20s or early 30s?
What a fantastic question, because I have to usually point that out to people. In the 1970s, when I started, playing professionally, if you want to call it that, playing clubs in Canada, the idea of playing in Las Vegas was really relegated to kind of show bands and kind of, the old style of showbiz, which, we now look at as being incredibly classic. But that wasn't the place that rock bands aspired to want to play one day. However, when I joined Styx, which was 24 years ago, and we came here for the very first time, we actually played. I'm going to point. By the way, this is not my home. I don't live in a French provincial like Louis XIV type of a place.
It is gorgeous.
I'm looking out the window here. If you look, you can see the International Hotel right there. That's where Elvis played. Like, hang on, screwing that up. There we go. There.
Long as hell.
No, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come by tomorrow.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll see you.
Come on. Hold on. Needless to say, having issues with the interview with Lawrence Gowan, lead singer of Styx. We'll see if we can get back into it here momentarily with Lawrence. Not sure what the hell the problem is and why it's stuck like that, but damn it. Technical issues, stat man, that's just what happens, my friend.
Well, when you we didn't have armed guards and gates to keep the gremlins away. So sometimes that happens when gremlins have their way with video.
All right, let's try this again. How Slayer comes to your shows and you go to Slayer shows. Yeah. I just look at the ignorance that I had as a 20-something where, metalheads can dig ballads like Styx.
It's, first of all, we were on the bill in Sweden with Motorhead for Sweden Rock, which is a giant, basically metal festival, but we went over fantastic. And even going in, we thought, do we have enough leather and chains to do this gig? We didn't really. So we wound up wearing our usual flamboyant 70s type stage clothes, which are kind of unapologetically over the top. Audience, absolutely. I mean, literally, it was us and Motorhead. We were on face-to-face stages. It's a great festival, the Sweden Rock. And we learned very quickly that a lot of metal people, they can trace a lot of their roots back to a lot of classic rock groups. I have to say though, Kenny, when you said that first, sometimes you suppose what the person's going to say. You said, and I was really surprised to see that Lemmy picked up some, and when you said I thought you were going to say germs. But anyway, I'm glad you didn't. Journey. Pick up some Journey. Oh, thank you.
Attaboy. Wow.
It is Las Vegas after all.
Yes.
I should have a drummer standing by.
He was in our studio once, and with all the brown alcohol that he consumed, I don't think one germ would survive. Could have survived in the man's body. He had one person who was in charge of just filling his red cup when he would just raise it. The guy would come running in and fill it up.
Yeah. He was kind of legendary in a lot of ways. I also thought he was one of the most quotable people in the interview. I'm sure it went great.
Wait a minute. Kenny, I got to take the time for this. One of the great sound bites in Speed Freaks history, and we've been doing this, Lawrence, for almost 23 years. He talked about, it was about 5 years after 9/11, our attack on our being here in America.
Right.
And he talked about the difference between touring in America before 9/11 and after 9/11.
Okay.
You have some of that experience, I would assume. What is your experience? Do you see anything different in America, especially now, maybe after the pandemic? Have things changed in your
Again, technical issues with our interview with Lawrence Gowan. My apologies, affiliates, and my apologies those watching this on YouTube and Facebook Live. Some glitches in the interview. You hear the jumping all around and about. May have to reset it, try and get back into it. But Statman, a part of the interview that we talked about was you just don't think of Styx or Lawrence Gowan, the lead singer of Styx, being a huge heavy metal fan. We talked about his son being a huge new metal fan, and then we got into the stories about Slayer and Motorhead, but having a band like Styx, Statman, drop metal in most of the conversation, it surprised even me, being the metalhead that I am, Stat.
You know, it's amazing that brilliance recognizes brilliance, whether it's artists who like other artists, sculptors who like painters, musicians who like who other musicians, drivers who appreciate other drivers. Right. But brilliance appreciates brilliance. And I think that's what Lawrence, without saying it, that's what he was saying, that he's not going to go hear everybody, but he's going to hear the ones he likes.
And that also plays to the point of motorsports or race car drivers. Whether it's Colin Braun, Tony Stewart, those drivers can appreciate IndyCar or dirt series drivers, or Tony Stewart to agree when it comes to Top Fuel. It's not, oh, that's Top Fuel. Why would I pay attention to that? It's like, I can appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that of all the NASCAR drivers that I've sat and talked to in their garages or in their haulers, the one thing that they have asked that they've appreciated more than anything are people that drive Top Fuel cars, because it's so out of the box, and anything that anybody's ever done from 0 to 100 miles an hour in less than a second, 300 miles an hour at the top end. You figure a guy that can drive for 5 hours at 200 miles an hour is in his own world, but they just look at Top Fuel drivers and said, how do you do that? And, a lot of them won't even challenge like Tony did to get in the car and give it a try, even for just one blast of the pedal.
Crasher, we've got about a minute, but think about this, though. We've mentioned this so many times. How many drivers will jump into a sprint car, will jump into a stock car, versus how many drivers will jump into a funny car or Top Fuel rail? Not many.
Not many at all. Are we also entertaining the Antron Brown to door slammer conversation?
Not
Is
yet.
that kind of where you got to? Okay.
No. Okay. We just, again, the interview with Lawrence Gowan got muffed up. We'll hopefully get to part 2 coming up next. All right, Freak Nation, we'll do our best to do better. Coming up next, SpeedFreaks Pits and the Lucas Oil Studio.
SpeedFreaks Motorsports Radio redefined.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Back in the day, you guys did everything you could with what you had.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be more fun to take everything we have today and put everything you had over top of it.
How about that? Wow.
MAV TV presents Legacy of Speed. This is the story of the cars, the men who built them, and the men who raced them. This is their legacy of speed on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Our team is on the Rubicon Trail today, running over 125 vehicles over one of the toughest trails in the world. With all the different modifications people can make for their Jeep 4x4, the only product that touches the ground is a tire. This is the team that you want testing your product.
I've been off-roading for 30 years now, and you definitely don't need anything bigger than 37-inch tires. Our founder, Mark Smith, drove from the tip of South America to the tip of North America on 31-inch tires.
The General Tire X Series meets our standards.
We have the ability for accelerated testing in all conditions: mud, rock, dirt.
We're out here this week highlighting the capability of the General Grabber X3 to see how this tire can perform in unbelievable conditions. It's incredible to watch General Tire deliver in this terrain.
General Tire delivers me to a fishing tournament, the outdoors, jeeping, whatever it is that you want to do. It's outdoor life is what it is.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Freak Nation, you're back in Lucas Oil Studios, Speed Freaks on a Sunday night. The Clash, your winner, Martin Truex Jr. And we continue on with our interview with Lawrence Gowan, lead singer of Styx, multi-platinum selling band, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the history of mankind. It's part 2 of our interview with Lawrence Gowan, front man of Styx. And I want to get back to of course, the metal conversation. My eyes were opened up when I was emceeing an event at the Old Sound Warehouse in Dallas where it was Motorhead and Wasp. They had an appearance there. And of course, many fans show up to get all kinds of things autographed. And one of the provisions was Lemmy, the lead singer of Motorhead, got an unlimited, unlimited choice of CDs at the time. Mm-hmm. And I followed Lemmy and I think he still denied it to his deathbed. I saw him pick up some Journey albums or Journey CDs. And I thought, man, if my metal hero can listen to Journey, then I can listen to Journey. And listening to you talk about how Slayer comes to your shows and you go to Slayer shows, I just look at the ignorance that I had as a 20-something where, metalheads can dig ballads like Styx.
It's, first of all, we were on the bill in Sweden with Motorhead for Sweden Rock, which is a giant, basically metal festival, but we went over fantastic. And even going in, we thought, do we have enough leather and chains to do this gig? We didn't really. So we wound up wearing our usual flamboyant 70s type stage clothes, which are kind of unapologetically over the top. Audience absolutely, I mean, literally, it was us and Motorhead. We were on face-to-face stages. It's a great festival, the Sweden Rock. And we learned very quickly that a lot of metal people, they can trace a lot of their roots back to a lot of classic rock groups. I have to say, though, Kenny, when you said that first, sometimes you suppose what the person's going to say. You said, and I was really surprised to see that Lemmy picked up some, and when you said I thought you were going to say germs. But anyway, I'm glad you didn't. Journey. Pick up some Journey. Oh, thank you.
Attaboy. Wow.
It is Las Vegas after all.
Yes.
I should have a drummer standing by.
He was in our studio once, and with all the brown alcohol that he consumed, I don't think one germ would survive. Could have survived in the man's body. He had one person who was in charge of just filling his red cup when he would just raise it. The guy would come running in and fill it up.
Yeah, he was kind of legendary in a lot of ways. I also thought he was one of the most quotable people in the interview. I'm sure it went great.
Wait a minute. Kenny, I got to take the time for this. One of the great sound bites in Speed Freaks history, and we've been doing this, Lawrence, for almost 23 years. He talked about, it was about 5 years after 9/11, our attack on our being here in America.
Right.
And he talked about the difference between touring in America before 9/11 and after 9/11.
Okay.
You have some of that experience, I would assume. What is your experience? Do you see anything different in America, especially now, maybe after the pandemic? Have things changed in your assessment when you come to America and see what's going on?
Yeah, yes. Both those events, there was a noticeable, whatever you want to call it, a palpable, noticeable difference in the whole kind of emotion of the country. I mean, now after 9/11, of course, it was both are very different. After 9/11, we just a couple of months after it happened, we actually got to tour the site because we were mounting some charity concerts for the victims or the families of the victims, particularly of the New Jersey firefighters that were there. They lost 37 people on that day. But we were mounting these concerts. We visited the site, and there was this. As a Canadian, and I noticed that there was this steely resolve in America and in Americans that, this, however people here perceive the value of their freedom, it was not going to be compromised. And I was really impressed with that, quite honestly. That's the first show we did back was an ordeal even to get there, because there were no flights. And I remember it was a planes. No, it was no planes. It was just trains and automobiles to actually get to the site. It was in Kansas, and the audience was, the emotional release of that first show was really something to witness. And I loved that. In a different way, after the pandemic, this is a great question, actually. After the pandemic, our first show back, they had staggered the seating at first. This was in June of 2021, where they sold every other row. And that was a different type of emotion. That had to do with a lot of people everywhere had lost someone or seen someone be adversely affected in a lot of ways. And everyone was really coming out of an unknown kind of fear. We really didn't know what to be afraid of, or how to measure our response. And it was different for everyone. But there were tears, quite honestly. Particularly, you could see that up front. There were tears in people that had really missed the experience. And I actually started thinking, maybe I haven't wasted all my time on planet Earth just having fun. It actually does affect people in a great way. I just want to be near music every single day. But when I see what it does to people, and that's part of the answer I was giving you with why a live concert is so important, it really does lift people's entire being. And I felt that probably more after the pandemic, in a different sense after 9/11. That was more of a pushback. There was more of a resilience that we're going to push back on this. The other one was more of an emotional, we made it through. There was more of a united feeling of we made it through.
That's a great responsibility that the music industry has, to keep people in general just entertained, but keeping them connected to life in general in a nicer way.
I fully agree. I honestly, you never, to perceive that from the stage is for the most part, you're just perceiving applause, etc. But when you really can feel this is a true exchange of emotional uplifting vibes, you do feel like this is important. And another great testimony to it is, for example, I used to be really surprised at how many times my doctor wanted to come to shows. And just the other night, the surgeon that did both my knees, because I had both knees done.
Bionic man.
He was at the show. And I would be thinking, you're like a surgeon. These are doctors. These are really important people. Why would they get? And then I begin to realize, no, they need this. They need this release. They need this to kind of to put some perspective on the rest of their lives. And music provides that as well.
You talk about the way music touches you, that you listen to, whether it's Kiss, country.
Yeah.
What about writing music and feeling that music in your bones and your brain and every fabric of your body? Is that a different feeling than watching Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons shred versus you sitting behind a piano? Are those feelings different in the appreciation of music?
First of all, they're entirely different. When you're writing something, that can be kind of gut-wrenching, quite honestly. It's that's where the work is involved. Quite honestly, I find that the writing is, that's the most difficult part, because you're confronted with all this great music, and you want to come up with something that can in some way be worthy of people's ears and their time. And so there's a lot of tearing your hair out to a certain degree, and a lot of kind of really confronting yourself in the mirror to go, is this worthy of standing up to any sort of longevity? So that's difficult. The great thing I love about being in a band is that you have your best critics right there in the room with you, and they'll say, no, that's not it. And then suddenly when they say yes, that's a good idea, and we can can take that a bit further, you feel like you've done your labor. The labor part of music has been rewarded just in that moment, So I know we'll do a couple of newer songs tonight that recently we've had. I can relate to that moment in the room where suddenly the idea was the right one. But up until then, it can be days of torture before you hit upon something that just really is doing what it's supposed to do.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Back in the day, you guys did everything you could with what you had.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be more fun to take everything we have today and put everything you had over top of it.
How about that? Wow.
MAV TV presents Legacy of Speed. This is the story of the cars, the men who built them, and the men who raced them. This is their legacy of speed on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
Man, new car, new oil. What kind of oil should I put in this thing? I can't figure that out. I got to get something. I'm here in the ATPA pits. Maybe I ought to go check somebody out, see what they suggest.
This freaking segment is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Sometimes I just don't understand the mindset of motorsports marketing. The golden chalice, of course, is audience, where to get it and how to keep it. NASCAR has been turning over rocks for 20 years looking for more people to look at its shows. Last year it found one answer in South Central Los Angeles, of all places. It put a show in the LA Coliseum and bought in urban entertainment to support it. The reward was box office and TV ratings success. Then there's IndyCar. Its audience is shrinking no matter what it believes or what it tells us. So what's it do? This week it put its preseason show behind armed guards in bulletproof vests at a millionaire's retreat in the Southern California desert. To top it off, they called the affair an open test. I'll give them this. I wasn't there. But if you think enough of me, a fan, and a member of the media that talks to fans, if you think enough of me to hide behind armed guards on streets paved with gold, you miss the point entirely. You don't need to be in South Central, but you need to be somewhere where armed guards aren't needed to keep me away. Didn't you think what this looked like? Obviously not. Peace.
Your stat man scat here in the Freak Nation, Lucas Oil Studios. Grammys still going on. The Clash is not. Your winner, Martin Truex Jr. And Richard C. Suave, you shot us a text in regards to Kyle Busch and the 2023 Clash. Disrespect from everybody. Do you care to share with the Freak Nation what this story has to do with Kyle Busch and the disrespect?
Shocker, Kyle Busch was not pleased by not winning the Clash earlier tonight. So this is a quote from the press conference after the race. He said, "Last year's show I felt was relatively clean and good racing, some bumping, some banging, but we could run long stretches of green flag action, where today was, I would call it, a disaster with the disrespect from everybody of just driving through each other and not just letting everything kind of work its way out." 15 plus cautions in the 150 lap main eventer tonight. And Kyle Busch is probably not wrong about that.
Okay. I thought you were going to go into the realm of disrespect by the fans. Okay. Disrespect drivers upon each other. Okay. Yeah, you're right. He is onto a little something. Right after Wiz Khalifa, there was far too much delay. So yeah, good for him speaking out.
So it's just disrespect of dudes driving over each other. I was going to ask Statman this. In all seriousness, Statman, how do you eliminate that? How do you eliminate these drivers turning their cars into bulldozers? Or can you?
No, I don't think you can. This is a non-points race. It's a show on a strange track. They don't race on a quarter-mile track anywhere else. So the drivers have to get used to racing on something different. If it's not a mile and a half, high speed, get out of my way kind of track. Leave me alone. I'm a two-time champion. And if you don't let me win, then you're disrespecting me. I think that a lot of drivers have that attitude. And when I think it's going to continue this year where new names and new faces are going to be at the sharp end of the field. And that's going to be hard for some of the older drivers to get used to.
Curious if NASCAR polices this a little bit more or finds a way to rectify the situation, because their idea with the Clash in South Central Los Angeles is to bring in new eyeballs. But if they're spending half of the second half of the race under caution, you're going to lose people rather than maintain some of that new audience that you hope to have gained.
And no, you're 100% right. I think that the drivers, I've said always that drivers, whatever track they're racing on, they don't like, and whatever kind of racing happens, they're not happy with it unless they win. So at any race, there was 25 or so cars in the feature. So there's only one guy that's happy, and the rest of the 24 are unhappy. And Kyle Busch happened to be one of the rest of the 24. He finished third. So he's unhappy. And but I think like I said, there's going to be a lot of that this year as new faces show up at the front of the line.
which we saw a lot of last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, that's the changing of the guard.
Yep.
Not a bad thing.
And it's tough to make this race your barometer on how the season's going to go. I don't expect Dillon and Kyle Busch to be running in the top 5 the majority of the season. Kyle Busch, certainly a little bit more of a contender in my eyes than Austin Dillon is, but it's not a great barometer on how the season's going to go because of what Kyle Busch just said, just the disrespect of bulldozing those in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that they did today would probably work even on the half mile at Bristol. But this is a quarter-mile track. They don't race in a quarter mile anywhere else, and drivers aren't used to this. And they drive like they normally drive, and they don't change their style to race in a style that's not conducive to what they're used to, and that's 200 miles an hour on a 1.5 mile oval.
And Crasher, this isn't a track. The turns 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 at Bristol, the degree of banking there compared to the Coliseum, and you can't throw it into the Coliseum track like you can here, which frankly it aids them in some of these issues of bulldozing dudes, which they've got at Bristol.
Aids them?
You
mean it helps them to run into each other?
No. It prevents. You're able to run it harder into 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 at Bristol versus what you're doing in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the banking helps you there.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You got your, for all intents and purposes, the NASCAR season kicking off, at least with the exhibition of the Clash. Fun to watch, but I don't think you should take it too seriously and think that the season's over just because of what you saw.
Or that these guys are going to be what the season's about. And Martin Truex and Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch are going to be competing for the championship.
I'm just saying, Joey Logano won the Clash last year and he won the title.
Yeah, well, I don't think. I hope I'm a Martin Truex fan, but I don't know that he is going to compete for the championship. I don't know who will. He had 19 winners last year. He could have 25 this year.
You know what we sound like, Statman? We sound like those pontificators after week 1 in the NFL season, where the Detroit Lions win their first GDM game, and my God, the Lions will be in the Super Bowl. Bitches.
Yeah, right. And people in Detroit ought to be buying Super Bowl tickets. Yeah, right.
Right.
Tattoos, baby.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what they pay us the big bucks for, is to pontificate and get people freaking riled up, damn it.
Yeah, and wear orange hats. There we go.
It's actually red, Stat.
Is that red?
It's red. Lucas Oil on one side, General Tire on the other, and Lucas Oil smack down the middle. Of course, this is paying
I
homage.
like it because you put your head down a lot when you're looking at things that you need to monitor for the show. So when you do that, that's all we see is this big red mass.
We're paying homage, and again, I'm finding a way to incorporate our good friend Greg Cazzo into the show moving forward, and he's a gentleman who passed away in the middle of December, and if you were in motorsports, you don't even need 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You are a degree or two away from what Greg Cazzo did, representing Lucas Oil and MAV TV and a number of other products out there. We lost him in the middle of December, but as we said at his remembrance or his memorial, Crasher, and many people said we're not going to forget that guy, and I don't want to forget him on this show. So I'm thinking of something to come up where we honor Cause in a freak way every freaking Sunday night here in the Freak Nation.
Well, the hat is a very good way to kick it off, and if you wear that hat in the show's final segment, every show from now on, it's just awesomeness.
That's my point. It's actually, frankly, it's sexy.
You are a sexy beast.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's one way to describe it.
Sexy foam man.
And maybe before the Super Bowl, maybe, okay, we'll have some news for your Freak Nation. Pretty awesome news. My alarm reminded me we got a break coming up. I don't leave anything for chance, dog.
We will be running a best of show, though, Super Bowl Sunday, because all of you will be watching the Super Bowl, most likely. But after that, it's the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And we'll be back live to talk about that big, massive weekend.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for being a part of this big old thing. Richard C. Swaby, thank you for looking fat and happy there, like our good friends at Lucas Oil, lucasoil.com there. Take your hat off real quickly. Take it off.
Oh, yeah, I want to see the flow.
That man, shoot the juice to the moose.
Cut it loose.
From the labs of Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
As a trucker, you've seen every kind of road condition out there. One of the toughest is icy, freezing weather, which can thicken diesel fuel and plug system filters. That's why you need Lucas Anti-Gel Cold Weather Diesel Treatment. It prevents fuel gelling at extremely cold temperatures, lowers the cold filter plugging point of diesel and biodiesel fuels, and removes moisture from the entire fuel system. In turn, you get maximum performance and reliability. For more info, visit lucasoil.com. Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
It's edgy and downright offensive at times.
So he wins my What an Idiot for the month of July.
See the world of NASCAR through their eyes.
Hey, it's TJ, Brett, and Freddie.
Superstar guests and plenty of hot takes.
And we are door bumper clear.
NASCAR hits MAV TV with Door Bumper Clear. Only on MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The biggest racing series in America is coming to your town. It's time to mark your calendar. Get ready for the wildest festival of speed in the Midwest. The Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Don't be on the outside looking in. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-569-5802. 800-569-5802. 800-569-5802. That's 800-569-5802.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.